What are those?
We've got so much to talk about in
What
such a
are
little
the?
time.
Ooh, don't tell me you joined like a 3-on-3 rec league. Oh, those are
Oh,
signed.
Jalen Green, Houston Rockets, came to work for a Q&A. Normally, I
Wow.
don't get on the mic to ask questions, but I felt like I had to ask a question,
Which was?
which was a lot of great players don't make it to the NBA. A lot of great players aren't in the NBA yet. Who is the best player you've played against in AAU, high school, or the G League who hasn't made it to the NBA? And then I paused, and some guy sitting is like, "Ooh, that's a good one." And he gave the same answer and said, "Oh, everyone that I played with is in the
Oh
NBA."
man. You should have told them, hey, you're not being recorded. You can say whatever you want.
But I did
You
get
know?
that shoe. I mean, it would be great if it was a pair, but
You
I
just got
think
one shoe.
people ask questions, so they gave us individual shoes.
Can you go buy that exact shoe, same size?
I never thought about that. But do I wear it? It's autographed.
I mean, how important is Jalen Green to you?
Depends on what year three, four, five, six look like, and if he wins a chip in Houston.
I got an autographed baseball from a Mariners game, and Roy was chewing on it the next day. So, I mean, it was Danny Antavilla, who was a. It's all relative. But yeah, I don't wear the shoes. That's an awesome little story.
It's good for up here.
Yeah.
Let's get into the show. My eyes are watering. It's early. I can get on East Coast
Woo!
time. We got college football kicking off. It's week one. Last week was week zero. So welcome to Big Ben and K Win on nofilter.net, YouTube TV. More of an audio podcast person? Subscribe, listen, give us a 5-star rating. If you're watching this live, drop your comments below. On demand, drop your comments below. Today we got a great show. We're going to talk a little fantasy football, college football, the new 12-team playoff, Georgia versus Clemson, which I'll be at in Atlanta, and much,
Ooh.
much more. I'm Kayvin. He's Big Ben, and he has not been banned from asking Deion Sanders questions in interviews.
Oh, Paul Feinbaum, just all these stodgy old, journalists just absolutely dislike Dion with a passion. And
If
for
you're a troll, you get clicks.
yeah, exactly. And Dion's more than willing to give you the clicks, right? He's more than willing. So they're just trying to pry everything they can out of him. I don't know where you go with Dion. I don't know. This season is a tell-all for that team and Dion's tactics, theories. I don't know what to take from
I've
Colorado.
talked about this with a couple friends. I feel like in this day and age with social media and NIL and attention and exposure, you got to talk, right? If you talk and you're good, you're going to get the ratings, you're going to get the TV, everyone's good buzz. If you talk and you're just okay and you have people against you and for you, it's still good. And don't forget, like, all of this could turn into his son being an NFL first round draft pick and Travis Hunter
Mm-hmm.
being a top 10 pick. And no one thought any of these could have happened because he's brought all this attention and exposure to a program that was, frankly, the worst program in the Power Five like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
So
that's
everyone's expecting him to be like Georgia. No, he's not going to be like Georgia. He's going to be mid tier and people are going to talk about him.
he can't exactly, and he's going to produce. First thing you have to do to get any notoriety or looks from good recruits is produce NFL prospects, and that's what
Correct.
he's hoping to do in these first 3 years, right? That's why he brought in all these guys from Jackson. But I feel like Dion is the guy you either love or you love to hate,
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's no middle ground.
No one's
Like
in the middle.
no one's in the middle. So you're either buying blender sunglasses, and you got you're rocking out with Dion, watching his episodes on YouTube or whatever it is, or you're finding ways to just get under his skin, and that's what all these. I think the general media is trying to do,
Yeah.
right? They can't if you're writing for the Boulder Review or whatever it is, the newspaper. You can't write sensationalized articles. You got to write facts, but they're trying to get under his skin, and it's you can tell Dion's not with it.
Well, and Dion will tell you what's on his mind.
Oh
Most
yeah,
coaches and players in my earlier Jalen Green story, like they hold it in because they don't want it out there. Dion will tell you, and so people just poke at him, and he's authentically himself. Love him or hate him, he's
yep.
not going to change.
All right, let's get into the Are we doing fantasy football first, or are we going to go right into
I mean,
college
I'm so
football?
excited for college football.
Let's
I
go
feel like
college
we should
football.
start there.
Yeah. So you want to talk the 12-team playoff?
What do you think about the new 12-team playoff?
Excuse me. I wish it was enacted back when I was in college because the Cougs would have made it a couple of years. That's what I know. Um, Candidly, I like it. I like it because it takes kind of the argument off the table. There's always like the 15, the 16, maybe even the 7 some years that have had arguments to be in it. But with the kind of overall, I guess it gives opportunity for more intrigue, more surprise, more underdog, more alumni engaged in the 12. Let's be honest, the Bulls, like if your team's going to a bowl game, like I'm not going to we've been in the Sun Bowl like 7 years, the Cougs. I'm not going to El Paso again, right? But there's these fringe teams that are now going to be in the playoffs. And that alumni base, it's only good for college football in totality in terms of fandom, in my opinion.
I love it. Think of Major League Baseball and what the wild card did. It was one
Mm-hmm.
wild card in '95, then in the I don't know 2012 they added a couple. 2002 they added three more, so three each league. It's more teams, it's more fun, and it's more fan bases that are in it until November. Like
Yep.
when it was four teams, it was really six or seven teams competing for those four spots, and it was all the Power Five at the time. And then if you were an independent, good luck. But
Yep.
now with 12 teams, you've got what, 20 teams that have a shot? You could lose twice. You could lose like Florida State to Georgia Tech and still have a chance to get in with two or three losses or to win your conference. I love it. It's great for college football. I can't wait.
Every game matters now.
Every
Like
game.
obviously there's you're probably top tier in the Big Four. So let's take it. I don't know. You take the top tier, the top
Well,
half.
let me dig right into that with my
Okay, go.
question. How many power conferences are there?
4.
Do you believe that? The media says it's four, the commissioner says it's four, but do you believe
Phew,
there are four? And I'm poking a little bit.
I know what you're saying. Are you going to value a win in the Big 12 as much as you do as win in the Big 10 or SEC?
Exactly.
Maybe, maybe not. But we'll see how that plays out, right? There's analytics are going to come in this thing a little more than people think, right? Because you're going to have to do that strength of schedule, a lot of that, the nuance stuff, maybe the extended statistics around win loss and so forth, good wins, bad losses, so forth. That's going to come into play. But I do agree, like the Big Ten, and they've already said this in terms of revenue shares. Big Ten and SEC are going to get like twice the money when it comes down to it, that of the Big 12 and ACC. So, is there parity in terms of value of wins and losses in each league? We don't know yet.
Where I'm going with that is 12-team playoff. I think 8 seeds are going to come between the SEC and Big Ten. Like I was doing the math before this show. SEC, Georgia, Texas, Bama, and then your 14. It could be Old Miss. It
Yeah,
could be Tennessee with my boy Nico Imaliala. It could be Missouri. Then you go to the Big Ten. It's Oregon. It's Ohio State. It's Michigan. It's probably Penn State. That's 8 teams. I'm going to keep going for you. Big 12, Iowa State, Kansas. Let's go Kansas because Char's from Kansas.
sure.
And then what do you have? ACC. We saw Florida State. Miami's got your boy Cam Ward. Clemson. Give me Miami. So that's 2 seeds left. You got Notre Dame. They're in.
Yep.
And then it's down to Liberty, Missouri, Boise State. And
Yeah.
there is your 2024-25 college football 12-team playoff. You don't even have to watch. I just gave it to you.
You're exactly right. So if you're just taking polling from day one, right, where people see the best top 25 teams, I think your top Big 12 team is Utah at number 12,
Oh yeah,
right?
Vegas they get.
Yeah, so Utah's in the mix at number 12, but then every from Notre Dame and ACC, or excuse me, SEC and Big 10 make up, I think, 10 of the other 11 teams in the top 12.
Yeah.
So if you're just looking at that, you're exactly right. And there's going to be so much parity in the Big 12 that you're outright conference champ, and then probably no one else may make it. You may only get one seat. Same goes for the ACC. I mean, in all reality, like, are you going to take a one-loss ACC team over a three-loss Big 10 team? We'll see.
Not after what Florida State showed in week
Oh
one.
my goodness! That for the ACC, if you're every ACC team, you're going, oh my. Like it can't get any worse there.
It's like the NCAA basketball at large. Gotta win your tournament to get in.
Yes, exactly. All right, give me the year outright. You want to talk outright winners across each four conference or all four
Yeah.
conferences? Okay, let's start with let's get the minutia out of the way. The ACC and the Big 12. ACC is anyone's game. We just saw it with the big with FSAU losing. Like it's literally anyone's conference to win, in my opinion. Miami and Clemson have heads up because I think they have the best talent in the league. Cristobal and Dabo, probably 2 year better coaches.
Yeah.
Um, the storyline is, can either of them separate themselves from the conference? Like, is there a resurgence from Clemson? And has Miami got enough recruits? I don't know.
I'm going Cam Ward. Saw him play a little bit. We are a Coug pod. We still love
Sure.
the Cougs. He left us, but I'm going Cam Ward. Mario Cristobal, I think it's year 3. I think he's like roughly 500 record. I'm going to go Miami out of ACC.
If there's ever a year for Miami to come back and take it, it's this year. Like they do have Cam. Cam's a very good quarterback.
First rounder in the NFL?
I'm trying to think of his comp this year. I don't think he's Jaden Daniels. I don't think he's
Poor
Jaden
man
Daniels.
state.
Poor man's Jaden. So latter half of the first round, maybe. Who do you got in the Big 12?
So, I mean, it's stacked with teams that are all alike. But at the top of my list, Iowa State. I mentioned Kansas. You got Utah, Oklahoma State. I don't know, and it doesn't matter. So it's the Iowa State.
All right, I'm going with the Kansas slant here. The Kansas Jayhawks, I think, are ranked in the top 25 in the preseason poll for the first time in gosh knows how long. Maybe they squeaked in last year. And then you have Kansas State, a program that's been in the Big 10, Big 12 title game. They made it to, I believe, they snuck in a few years back
Yes.
to the college football
Les
playoff.
Miles still the head coach, right?
Les Miles is not the head coach at Kansas, nor is he at Kansas State.
Oh, you said? Did you say?
Leopold is the guy at Kansas. I said Kansas State.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, we should probably just go off for.
No, you take Kansas State. I'm taking
I like Kansas and Kansas State. Like it's a sunflower state. They have a sunflower showdown every year. Kansas has not beat Kansas State in so long, but yet Leopold, who came from I believe Buffalo, I believe I'm right there, has the I don't know if he's got the talent per se, but he's probably got the coaching ability to put the right players out there and win. The Big 12, I mean, it's an absolute toss up. Willingham could come in and just shut things down too.
Yeah.
He's got a good program there at Utah.
Got a quarterback back.
For what, 7th year?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's been in college football longer than Bo Nix played.
I agree. That's a long time. That is a long time. All right, let's get in the big. Let's go SEC.
All right. SEC. So I think you would agree with me. The 3 teams that have the best chances, anything can happen. We're still heading into week 1. Bama, Georgia, and Texas. Do you agree with me on those 3 teams getting in?
Here, I'm going to make an argument for Ole Miss.
Okay. As the 4th or to replace one of those?
And potentially replace Bama. And here's why I say this: continuity. Anytime you have a first-year coach, you have to temper expectations. DeBoer is not Saban. It's a different voice, a different message. And I don't know, you saw a lot of, transfers going out, but a lot of good players coming in with Bama. So there's you don't have any continuity. You're trying to make players mesh together, get together. It's a different, whereas Lane Kiffin's been there for a bit. And I think Lane overall he knows talent and he can run a pretty good game plan when it comes to game day. So I think Ole Miss is probably your third. I'd say 3A and 3B between Bama and Ole Miss.
Okay. I got Tennessee in there. Nico Imaliava. Butchered his name early because I was excited. Explosive quarterback. Could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country that you have yet to see, but will hear about him. Jalen Wright's gone to the NFL. A lot is going to fall on his shoulders. The Balls have the experience. They have the team. I think they get in. The other team that's a wild card is Missouri. I always think of them as a basketball school, but they're really good at football. We can't pick 5 teams from the
I
SEC.
think you can.
So
Yes, you can.
give me your 5 from the SEC.
Well, here's the thing, and I've yet to like I can't drill down on the divisions and plays and home and away schedules and so forth. But you talked about those. The Missouri has to. Okay, Missouri has to have a near flawless record against those, not flawless, but against those 4 teams. Say they play those 4 teams collectively, they need to go probably 2-2 or 3-1.
Yeah.
They can't go 1-3. But if they do that, I think there's a claim for them to get in. Those other teams maintain their business throughout, I think they're especially. I think especially in the
Name
SEC.
6 teams. Give me your 5.
Well, it'd be those 5 you just mentioned.
Bama.
That actually is 6, isn't it? Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah. So I think there's only 5 teams.
Yeah. Okay. 5. It's 5 out of those 6.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Fair.
I'll say that. Big Ten. Here, can I give you a theory?
Let's hear it.
All right. Oregon. Dan, it's Lanning, right? Dan Lanning has probably the best job in the country, and I would say by a big
I think
margin.
we have the best job in the country.
We do have. Dan has the 3rd best job.
Okay.
I have the best job. You have the 2nd best job.
Fair enough.
Dan Lanning has the best job in the country. Here's why. When you look at NIL coming into play, and when you look at brand exposure, right? Oregon has the biggest opportunity to gain of any program in the country. Not only that, but they have the biggest resource in Phil Knight that's willing to push money into the middle and support the program. Because ultimately, if Nike wins, if Oregon wins, Phil Knight wins. And he hasn't had opportunity for exposure like this in a long time. Let's be honest, Pac-12 network, they were probably only on prime time. If I had to look over it, since the iteration of the Pac-12 network held the rights, maybe 10 times over the course of the past 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it was. So this year, while he's going to be on the Big Ten networks, he's going to have an immense opportunity to span across the country. And so Dan Lanning's going to have private jets. He's going to have all the money in the world to go make this. I mean, he's going to make Oregon into. They're going to have the opportunity to become the Bama, with more capital, with more exposure, with probably recruits.
Better offense.
I mean, they're going to have flights directly into Eugene from LA, from Dallas, from all these places where recruits can come. People can watch. They're no longer, Oregon's been a good program for a while, but I think with the opportunity that presents itself in the Big Ten, Oregon, and I don't think I'm alone in this, is going to be a phenomenal program, if not a top 5 program in the next decade.
Who's going to win October 12th when Ohio State goes to Eugene?
Ooh. Ohio State's probably still on a 3-legged flight. You got to take that into account. Like it's
Spirit Airlines, shout out.
I'll take Oregon, just because I think there's more on the line for them. Like that is the game. If they win that, game, like they could very well run Marcus Mariota and they're on as a proxy and try to win the game. Like there's a lot riding on that game. If they win that game, national exposure, there's more, I think Oregon has to win it if they want to make a splash. That's why I think
2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, Oregon won at Ohio State. Ohio State wants a little vengeance. I think those 2 teams play twice. I think they obviously play in the 12th, and then I think they play in the Big Ten title. So give me Oregon and Ohio State. Give me Oregon to win it. Give me Michigan. I would probably take Penn State as the 4th team. Sorry, UCLA. Sorry, USC. Sorry, UW.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, there's going to be an acclimation period for every team coming from the Pac-12. So UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington, right? It's just a different brand of football. Probably a little bit bigger players. I mean, the Big Ten's always been, known for 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And so it's going to be a different, whereas the Pac 12 had probably 6 really good quarterbacks last year slinging it around. So it's going to be a different nature of the game. You're going to have you got to go find bigger players to up front. But I think Oregon has, of all those schools coming over, has the easiest time acclimating and becoming a very formidable opponent for every back or Big Ten team. But I agree with you on those teams.
And our intern emailed me this morning because he likes me just a little more than he likes you. I take care of him. I give him days off. You work them.
I do.
He emailed me this insight. The number 5 seed is going to be a great seed for the 12-team playoffs. Now, hear me out. So the top 4 seeds are your 4 conferences: SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12. And they're going to rank them, right?
Yeah.
More than likely, the number 4 seed is going to be the Big 12 winner.
Yep.
Who is going to play the 5 seed, which is probably going to be the loser of the SEC championship game? That's probably going to be your 5th ranked team, according to the poll. So if that's Oregon and Ohio State, they're going to have a cakewalk playing Kansas State after they host a game. So the 5 seed would host a home game. 5 versus 12. So 12 is going to be the worst team. It's going to be like Liberty or something. So Ohio State or Oregon will beat the 12 seed. Then they'll go play the 4 seed on a neutral site, beat them, driver's seat. 5 seed is the money play. Fans, listeners, Big Ben, boy, the loser of the Big Ten, or excuse me, Big Ten, is going to get the 5 seed and is going to win it all. You following that?
Yeah. But do we just forget about the SEC? Like, I hear you.
Or
Absolutely.
the SEC. Whoever gets the 5 seed.
Right. Okay.
Out of the SEC or the Big 12. Because it could be Texas, it could be Bama, it could be Georgia getting the 5 seed.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. As much as like college football has kind of fallen off for me as we talk about this, I think there's a lot of intrigue. If there's standard college football playoff in 4, I would be really disinterested. But I do like the idea of 12 gives 2, maybe 1 at large bid. Really, you talked about Notre Dame being an independent, so generally they'll probably always be slotted in there, in somewhere, right? They're not going to be in the top 4, but they know that, and maybe the 5th seed. We'll see.
We also really can't play anyone, right? Because of the schedule, the Big Ten and the SEC, they have to play everyone. So Notre Dame plays USC and maybe someone in week 1 or week 2, and it's just cakewalk in between. They're going to get it every year. They're Notre Dame.
They're Notre Dame. We'll still see them on NBC every Sunday. Intrigue. My overarching thing in all this is Oregon's gonna have every opportunity to be a powerhouse moving forward, just with the exposure they get, and it'll be interesting to see what these California schools what happen. A lot of people are saying UCLA could be better than USC this year.
I mean, both are going to be at the bottom, right?
Right, but slightly better than USC.
What concerns me about the teams that are moving from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten is, it's blue collar, smash mouth football. You got to have an offensive line. You got to have a defensive line. You can't just pass and score 40 points and expect to win. I don't think UCLA, USC, or UW has the talent and the physical strength on the offensive and defensive line to match up in the Big Ten. I think Oregon has it, and I think Oregon will continue to have it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. It's a different recruiting schema. In the Pac-12, it used to be go get your position players, get the fastest you possibly can. Now that's no longer really the case, right? You got to go get the big guys to protect.
And we got Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator for Ohio State.
Oof.
A lot of intrigue.
Going back to Eugene.
Going back to Eugene.
Wow. Do you think he gets applauded? Is he?
I don't know.
Took him to a national title game, I think.
Yeah.
Should have some cachet, some equity from that. All right. College football. You want to talk about fantasy football real fast?
Before that, I want to talk about I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, Clemson.
Ooh, I'm sorry. What's on the agenda? What's the agenda?
Flying Thursday, going to meet JD and Buckhead, have a nice Italian dinner.
Ooh.
Friday, don't know. Saturday, the game's at noon. So we're going to a tailgate in the Home Depot lot.
That's
Like nine,
perfect.
I'm assuming like 9 o'clock, section 100 seats. Can't wait.
Wow. Are
The
you
trip
wearing
money,
that?
man.
Is
You
that
know
your
I
get
love
up?
it,
Are
right?
you what's that?
I don't want to talk about the trip. I want to talk about how I can win some money.
Okay. Go.
13 and a half. Some people have it at 14. Some people have it at 12. As of today, it's 13 and a half. Bulldogs. Would you touch that bet? And who would you bet?
If let me I would go the under in the first half.
Okay.
I would go Clemson to cover
Ooh, I'm to the cover.
and the over in the game overall. I think it's going to be tight
You
early on.
parlay that or three separate bets?
Three, no, parlay that. The under and it's week one, right? We're still figuring it out. What's going on out here? There's going to be mistakes beyond, there's going to be missed snaps, all this stuff. Under first half,
Okay.
Clemson to cover
Okay.
because I think it is week one,
Yeah.
and Dabo's a good coach, and then the over. I think there's a lot of points scored in the second half.
Okay. The only thing I don't like is that middle bet. I think I go Georgia. Georgia's still pissed off from last year. They didn't get in. They couldn't do their three-peat. They reloaded in the transfer portal. They've got, what's his name? Trevor Etienne, Travis's brother. They got Nate Frazier out of Modern Day. Carson Beck, the best quarterback in all of college football. That offensive line.
All right,
I
do
think
both.
I think
Hedge,
Georgia's going to stick it to him.
hedge.
Dabo does not use the transfer portal. And this is important because a lot of his freshmen have to play big minutes. Georgia has seasoned athletes at every position throughout the class structure. I'm
Okay.
going Georgia.
Is the Home Depot lot have like a bookie walking around?
I'll find out. Game day is not going to be there. If the bear was there, then I
Oh
just
yeah,
can't.
he'd be
He's
taking side bets. He'd have a pocket full of cash. All right, we'll have fun. Be safe. Fly safe. Don't one bottle of wine at that Italian
one
restaurant
bottle.
earlier. One bottle. That's all you need. Don't blow it on the first night. Up at 7 o'clock, getting that Starbucks quad venti shot.
Yeah.
Get going. I
All right.
envy you.
Fantasy football, like we're going to give it 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Let's just review our draft.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. I had to auto draft for the first 7 picks.
Well, let's set it up right. It's a 12-team PPR, super flex. So a lot of people draft quarterbacks early, and a lot of people have two quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. My auto draft wasn't horrible.
No, you have a good team.
But here's the thing: like the quarterbacks that were picked, we went quarterback first 2 round auto draft.
Yeah.
Were Pat Mahomes and Dak Prescott. There couldn't be more polarizing, frustrating quarterbacks in this league than those two guys. They could put up 100 points collectively combined. They could put up 4. And that was my only issue. Josh Jacobs, okay. I got 4 Wookiee wide receivers on my team. Lad McConkle, Xavier Worthy. Like
Did you rank your players?
I
Or
did
did
not.
you pick?
I did not. Literally, I
I'm
was
like, this team looks like players that been
stuck
like,
in traffic. I was gonna. You know how you have it on your um, you have it on your navigation and it tells you when you're going to be home. I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. I got 5 minutes to spare. Boom, traffic.
yeah,
The expectation time went up by 20 minutes.
I hate
Couldn't take the phone away. Sweating. I finally get home and my first pick is Brian Thomas Jr. Another rookie wide receiver. Take me through your draft. You executed well.
Thank
Who'd you hit on and who'd you miss?
So I had the eighth pick. After you drafted Mahomes at 3, there was a QB run. And so I had to make the choice, do I get my QB in the first round or the second round? Because if I wait to the third, I'm not going to have a good QB. I was deciding between Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. I took Chase because of Burrow. I don't know what Sam Darnold's going to do. And then on the swing back, I took your boy Anthony Richardson. And so, like, I'm happy with the 1 and 2. Overall, I got Jade Daniels probably a little early. Brock Bowers probably a little early. Like, I like the ceiling of all of my players, but it comes down to points and matchups and who you're playing that week. So we'll see what happens.
$1,200 to win.
Yeah. No, because I think second place gets something. I think it's
900.
1,000 or 900.
Not a bad takeaway.
Not bad.
I'm not. We'll see. I think I love you and I have similar draft strategies going into
Yeah.
things. And I nearly picked off like I'm sitting there. I'm going to take Rico Dwale. Kyle Wynn just picked
I
him.
had to get him because I had Zeke.
I know, but I picked up Jaleel McLaughlin in sled, which is I would have had more equity trade chip for you. But we'll see. You never know in fantasy.
The
Injuries.
computer for you, the only thing it did wrong is it should have got a wide receiver in the second round and then maybe Dak in the third round. So
Yeah.
you would have had like a Puka or a Jalen Waddle or like someone like AJ Brown. That's the only mistake that your computer made. Other than that, it was a flawless draft.
Instead, it's Xavier Worthy, who's Roy weighs more than, so he just gets shoved around. We'll see. We'll see what happens. That might be a combo. Xavier Worthy and Pat Mahomes go big this year.
That's the stack, KC stack. Should we get out of here?
Let's get out of here. All right, Big Ben at Big Ben K Win underscore on all your social media. That is your. I mean, what else? What do we all have? We have Instagram. We have Threads. We have TikTok. We got Facebook. We got, I think, everything. The gamut. Everything. The gamut. Make sure if you're listening to us on anywhere you get your podcast, whether that is Spotify, Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, whatever it is, find us at K Big Ben KWin underscore. And then if you're watching us live, tune in on No Filter, but also find us at YouTube. We got a streaming channel. Leave some comments, some banter.
Comments below. 5-star review us.
5 stars. Take us out. What do you got?
That's all I got. I'm bringing collar shirts back because
No, you see the SEC's country. You have to wear a collared shirt.
yeah, you gotta wear a collared shirt, right?
How many buttons you doing? Let me see. How many buttons? 1, 2, 0.
It's
No buttons.
a half one, so I have no buttons, but it's not a deep V.
Right. No buttons. That's good. Well done. You're gonna blend right in.
It shrunk during COVID, so it's a really like.
You might need to dirty up the hat a little bit. You might need to dirty up the hat a bit, or wear it maybe in the next few days, just so it's got some wearing.
Thursday night in Buckhead, it'll get plenty dirty.
Are you going to the ESPN? Remember the old ESPN restaurant?
ESPN zone. JD keeps saying he's like, what do you want to do? Go to the ESPN zone and get some wings? I was like, I didn't even know that still exists.
Get the ESPN zone. All right, enjoy.
All right, be good.
Later.